Everyone, welcome to another Laravel tutorial with Build with Mr. Lee. In today's video, we are going to be looking at how to integrate your HTML template to your Laravel application and how to lay them out. So this is the template we are going to be using. The name of the template is called Tushy, and on my description, I'm going to give a link to that template. The template can be found in Team Forest. So let's delve in. I'll be opening this with my VS Code. So on my VS Code, you'll see the various pages of the template about archive and the index. So let me look at the index page. So the index page is open already. So now one thing that actually, let me launch this template on the website so you could see it on Chrome. Sorry. So this how it looks on Chrome. So if you go through the website, this is a page. You can see from here you have a head and you have the header tag, and on the header tag you have your overlay, that's a search overlay, which is what you're seeing here. Then after that you begin to see the banner. The banner represents, this is the latest news update. This the first page you see, the first section you see on the website, then followed by other sections, your recent posts and all that. Then you scroll down here, you're going to see footer. I think if we collapse this, you're going to see the footer section here. So here's the footer section, and if you go through, let's look at the contact us page. It has a head, has a header, and here is the search overlay, and you begin to see the section, various section for the contact. Then you see your footer. Same thing to the categories page. You have the head, you have the header, and you have the search overlay, you have the banner section, that's the first section. Then after the sections you see your footer. So you can actually observe that there are things that are repetitive on each of the pages. So for the index page, you can actually see the footer is there, the head is there. I think every content in the head is the same. The header also, and this search overlay, they are constant, and you can see that they are repetitive in each of these pages. One thing Laravel does is what we call layout. Laravel is able to create a layout where those things that are repetitive can be stored in that layout, and instead of repeating them in each of the various pages, you can actually just use one particular layout file to lay them out in that file, and just be calling that layout file inside any of these pages. So remember, if you actually want to make a change on this header file here, let's assume you wanted to make a change on this header file. Let's say you wanted to change the title from home, wanted to let's say you want to change this from home 01 to 001. So let's refresh this. You see 001. If I go to the about us page, it's still 001. I have to come to the about us page and go to the header on the about us page before I can now make that change on 001, from 01 to 001. So imagine the stress it will take you to make those changes. But with the layout file that Laravel provides, you can actually make that changes in one page, and it's going to reflect in all other pages that has that layout file. So let's go into a Laravel project and let's incorporate this particular template into our Laravel project. So we are going to open our Laravel project with VS Code. So after opening your project, now if you check on the folder structure for Laravel, you go to resources, go to views. In your view, you'll just have one file. This is like a newly installed Laravel application. You just have one file. which is your welcome.blade.php. Okay, actually to create the layer, you can actually just come to your views and you create another folder called layouts. But I actually prefer using the Breeze package. The Breeze package is used for authentication. So your Breeze authentication package is used to handle the authentication such as login, register, forgot password, and verify password, etc. So you can actually use that package because the package by default comes with the layout structure. So it's easier to actually use your layout structure instead of creating the folder yourself. But you can actually do it yourself if you so wish. You don't want to use the Breeze authentication package. For now, I want to use the Breeze authentication package. So let me install it. Go to Laravel Docs. Now Laravel 12 actually doesn't have Breeze authentication package. It's a starter kit because Laravel 12 usually pays more attention to your Vue, your React, and your Livewire. But for this case, we'll actually go back to Laravel 11 to see how to install Breeze authentication package. So you go to your starter kits. In starter kit, you look for Laravel and Breeze. So for you to install Breeze, you write composer require Laravel /breeze-dev. That's what I'll put on my terminal here. Inside of the project, composer require Laravel /breeze-dev. If you don't like typing, you can actually copy and you paste. So let's wait for this to install. So you can, once the installation is done, which is what is done here, you can type PHP for Laravel installation, Breeze installation with Blade. You just need PHP artisan breeze install. So PHP artisan breeze install. This will install the Breeze packages and the folder structure will come from here. So you would see an instruction. Which Breeze stack would you like to install? For our case, we are using Blade, so I type Blade. So would you like to support dark mode? I like dark mode. If you don't like dark mode, you can say no. I'm putting yes. Our pest. For our testing, we will use pest. The package will be installed. Let me pause. So at the end of the installation, Vite will be built. You can see Vite build and that's it. Now, what you should observe again is after the installation, if you check your resources and you check your views, you're going to see various folders has been added. The first one is your authentication folder, second followed by components. The folder we're going to be using, which is layout, it's our layout folder. Now you can see various folders, you can also see profiles. Now also on the web.php, you see various folders that has been included, and you see this required directly auth.php route here that was added to your web.php folder. So once this package has been installed, you're actually going to see all these folders. Now we're concerned with the layout folder. Now by default, this layout folder has files called app guest navigation.blade.php. If you actually check your application now, let me put PHP artisan save. If I check my application on port 8000, I'm going to be seeing a Laravel application that has both the login and register number. So if I click on my login, I'm going to be seeing a different page with a form where I could actually log in. So this was actualized using the layout. Now, for us to use a layout, let's look at the first thing you see here is welcome page. Now let's look at our auth view. Now look at the login page we just opened. You could actually see that they are using a layout called guest layout, and this is how you actually write your layout on a page. If you want to use it, you write it like a tag, but use a kebab case. Your kebab casing. So your x hyphen the name of the layout. Each of the names should be followed by an hyphen. X shows that it's a component. This is a layout component, followed by a guest, followed by layout. So if you check on the layout folder, you see the layout is actually using its guest. So X followed by the name of the folder, which is the file, which is guest, then followed by this other name here telling me that it's a layout. X guest layout. So if I want to use other layouts, like if I want to use the app layout, I would definitely put the X app layout. I think this should have it. It doesn't. should be a file that has it here. Yes, this edit has it, X app layout. So this particular file was using our app layout. So I'm going to also explain how to use this with template we have. So currently what we have on our port 8000 is this Laravel page. We want to use it, we want to change this to see this application, this HTML template on this our welcome page. So in order to do that, you have to like check through the template and look out for the assets of the template. As you can see from the top, we have different template assets, which are the assets plugin and tag sync apt. So these are the assets that this template is going to use. These assets or these files contain, these folders contains the images, the CSS files and the JavaScript files that's going to be used. So we need these particular folders inside our um, Laravel application for this um, templates to be able to load on our page. So we would have to copy this into a folder called public, the public folder in our Laravel application. We have to copy these files. So you go to your Laravel application, you go to public. Inside your public, you create a new folder. Let's call it template assets. Template assets. Well, let me not even call it template. Let me call it guest asset. This is the page people that are not logged into our application is going to see. Let's call it guest assets. So inside this folder, you copy these other folders that are in your templates, copy them and paste inside. So these folders are now inside our Laravel application, inside the public folder. Public folder because it's a public folder that houses all the assets that has to do with your website. Then now, so at the moment, the page we are seeing here is the welcome.blade.php that is actually um, that has the content of that page. So what we want to build currently, the template we are using is a blog template. We want to build a blog such that people coming to see the blog that is not the admin or that is not the owner of the blog cannot actually edit the blog. They can only view it. So like what you're seeing here, you can actually come view if you want to read. But there's going to be a page for an admin to actually add the blog with the images and the titles and the content. But right now we just want our guests to see this page. So this layout you're seeing here, both these headers, the headers and the footers you're seeing here should be for guests. So by default, our Breeze package has actually gotten a file called guest.blade.php. We won't be using this, although we'll pay attention to their files and see how they actually did it. But we would have to rename it, so we can create another file called guest, which we are going to be using. So to rename, you rather right click and you scroll down, you see where they put rename, or if you're using Windows, you can actually press F2. So I will rename this to just differentiate it. I'll put an underscore, then I'll create another file inside our layout called guest.blade.php. This is this file we are going to use, and this file is going to contain the layout of our index.php. Everything for now, let's put everything inside. I would explain why. So now if you go back to the guest page, guest file we already have before, you could see that the only thing that they did here was at the beginning there was a meta tag called CSF token, which we would include in our new file, and also here the language, which is if you're using your app language, local language, which is not really important. And also the title of the edition was changed to your app name, or if it is not there, you use Laravel. Then you use Vite. We would actually not be using Vite to load our scripts at the moment. We just use the normal linking. And more importantly, your slot houses your content. So more like this is the head. Inside this body you can have those headers, like these headers on your template. You can see there's inside your body you have the header of your template, because it's common in all the pages we are going to be using it on our layout file. You can also have this search overlay because it's common in the pages, but we won't be having the content inside our layout files. The content will be inside our layout file. I'll explain shortly where our content will be. The footer is actually common, and also this all these script files, they are common in all the pages, so we'll be having them in all the pages, so they will be in our layout file. So now the content, what houses the content is what we call a slot. So this slot you're seeing here is very important. But before we actually implement all this, let us load our page on our welcome.blade. So instead of using this content on our welcome.blade.php, our welcome.blade.php is going to use our app, our guest layout. So to, like I explained before, to use your guest layout, use x hyphen guest hyphen layout. This particular casing is called a kebab case. So once that is done, it means everything inside your guest layout here will be rendered on your welcome.blade.php. Let's confirm that by running our port 8000. So you can actually see that this page is returning our HTML template already, but something is wrong. It is not returning the page as it is here. This is because your asset files is not loading correctly. So for us to load our asset files correctly, we go to the guest.blade.php. We look for the assets. You can see here it's actually showing assets. So we just highlight one and you press Ctrl H, or you look for replace all if you're using a MacBook. So you look for replace all. Now you want to replace this asset with what you named it in your public folder. So you check your public folder, you call guest underscore asset / asset. So in order to access the public folder, you start with a / that tells the blade file that this is a public folder. Then you type guest. Please ensure your spellings are correct, and also you are careful with how you use your cases, because it's case sensitive. Every name should be alike. So this is guest underscore assets, which is what we are having here. Then / assets / this asset you're seeing here. This is what is coming out after the guest underscore assets. Then if you do this, you have 34 of these assets you're seeing here. So you're replacing these 34 assets with guest underscore asset / asset / so this initial / at the beginning tells you that it's a public folder. So you go to your public folder, look for guest asset / asset, which is what you're seeing here, then / then it will replace asset / with all these things. So if you click on replace, you can see that asset / has been replaced with / guest underscore asset / asset .css. If what you did was correct, if we refresh this page, it's going to show our images. Voila, we've been able to launch the website on port 8000. So this is working correctly. Let's look at the JavaScript. You can see the JavaScript is coming up correctly. Let's scroll down to see if that was linked correctly. Now the next thing here to link is our bootstrap, because our plugins, this plugin folder is still inside of the guest set. So this particular bootstrap will not actually work until we'll rename this too. So you still do Ctrl H. So instead of assets now, you put guest underscore asset / plugins / then you replace all. Then we are good with this. So if we refresh, we could still see that everything is working out fine. But in this case, if this is only what we want to actualize, this will not be nice, because we want to change the content of the website per page. So this is the welcome page. We would actually have about us page and we have a contact us page. So once you have your welcome page, we still need about us page. So we would not want the guest layout to have to do anything with the content of our pages. The content of our pages, we should be able to change them inside the page, inside the files itself. So let's say welcome.blade. Content of welcome.blade we should be able to change here, but it is good. It will still use the same layout that the about us page will use, or the contact us page. So the welcome.blade is just like your index page. So now you go back to our analysis. Remember that from our initial analysis, this head, even inside the body, the header files, the overlay, the search overlay, they are all common to all the pages, and also our footers and everything below our footers, they are common to all the pages. So it means these are the only things that we want to be in our website, in our layout file, sorry. So you go to your layout file, you look for the common stuffs, you collapse them so you can be able to break it down. So you know that the head is common, the header is common, the search overlay is common. So this is where the content of the index.blade.php starts. So it starts here. Look at the featured post. If you go over to index.php, you see featured post, and you see the 9.5 and all that. Look out for recent posts. Then before the footer, yeah, featured post. After featured post, you see this post of the month. Let's collapse this. You see subscribe to our newsletter, which is what you're seeing here, and this subscribe to our newsletter is actually on the footer, close to the footer. Yeah, so I think every page on this has subscribe to our newsletter. If you look at futures, it has subscribe to our newsletter. If you look out for the about, it has subscribe to our newsletter. So you subscribe to our newsletter and the footer page together. So what you do is, it means this subscribe to our newsletter from here down to the footer and every other thing below, common to all pages. But rather what is not common is from here you see these are the content of your index.php from here to start of banner down. So you cut everything here. Okay, featured page, please hold on, scroll down, look at featured page before the start of newsletter. Please let me zoom this in. So before the start of newsletter, you can actually see, you come to the last part, which is the post of the month. So you start from there, you go to the top of your page, where you have start of banner, hold down your shift, then you click, it will highlight from that bottom where your cursor is to this point, then you can cut it. Then once you cut it, now if you refresh your website, you're going to see that all the contents are gone, and only what you can see is the header, the newsletter, and the footer, and this search bar is still showing. So now for us to actually view our content, we need to put our content inside this guest layer that we are using. So you paste the content inside here. Let's refresh our page. You can still see that this content is even still not showing, even when after we have added it to the welcome.blade.php. This is why. Now remember, initially I told you that for where you want your content to show, you must indicate this blade directive here, which is a slot. So you need to copy this here, and wherever you cut those content from in your guest.blade.php, you paste the slot there. And there's also something else here that we've not added, which is our CFRF token, which is very important. It should be on the header, on the meta tag. Then you can actually change the title from, instead of using the default Tushy title there, you can actually use your app name. Your app name you can actually change in your env file. So you paste it here. By default, you can call this Tushy blog. So if we refresh now, should be able to see the content. Voila, the contents are here. The contents are here. So why it's still showing Laravel here is because the app name inside your env file is called Laravel. So we can change this to my blog. So if you change this, by default it will update and you're going to see my blog at the top here. So we've been able to add we've been able to use this guest layout for the welcome page of our website. So that will be it for this particular video. This video is becoming lengthy, so let me stop it here. In my next video I would actually build show you how to return a view and through using a controller, and we'll actually use this template to work out the about page, the contact us page, and various pages that we'll be using for our blog. Thank you for staying to this point. See you in my next video.